crowd shuffles in.
I'm not really sure how it goes.
Yes, Sir Hairless here. I received a comment in a recent video saying that this song came out yesterday, which it did at the time of recording. I'm recording this on the 1st of September. This came out on the 31st of August. It is Forestella, and they've done a cover of Piano Man by Billy Joel. I really like the original song. I really like Forestella. So here we are, we're going to do this one whilst it's still fresh on the internet. My last Forestella reaction was back in May, so a good few months ago now. That was my favourite things. Please check that out if you haven't already, card will be up here. Although I did also do Love Runs Out about a month ago. That had Bae Do-hoon and Kang Hyung-ho from Forestella, so it was kind of like a half Forestella video. So without further ado, let's get straight into this one. Right, okay, that was an introduction, it seems. This is the start of Piano Man. So, it looks like there's no Ko-woo Rim, the bass of Forestella. We saw a similar thing with My Favourite Things, actually, but he was sat at the back of the stage and then he appeared later. Maybe he's going to come in later, but I can't see him on the stage now. We've got Kang Hyung-ho here, Cho Ming-yu here, and Bae Do-hoon there. Well, I guess we'll find out. I wish I could read the Korean.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic engine.
Say, son, can you play me a memory?
Okay, we've got Cho Ming-yu, the tenor, entering. I'm going to do a first pause here. There's some things that I'd just like to go over from the first part that we heard, so if you don't want to hear my analysis, go to the timestamp. I wasn't sure what sort of arrangement this would be, but the piano part is basically identical to the piano in the original song. Let's use the opening as an example. So in the original song, and here. To me, in the original, the discordance of this chord it just seems a bit more obvious in the original song for some immediate tension right from the off, almost as if the piano is a bit lighter in the Forestella performance. Maybe that's just me hearing it though. As we can see, they're performing in the same key as the original song. We have very interesting aesthetics overall, starting with their outfits, but we know they're not impartial to some very groovy outfits, if I can use that word. Also the dancers that we were seeing. And there are these 3 circles above them that are rotating, and they have sheet music on them as well. As for the music, it's nice to hear the very, very famous harmonica part. I don't think we can see who's playing it. If anyone, it could be in the backing track. But we can see other band members on the side of the stage. We saw the strings, the violins, we've got drum, guitar over here. And overall, it's a very open performance. We've got the whole stage to scan. You've got the Forestella members on either side and in the middle, the piano in the middle, the band members on the side, as we spoke about, the visuals I just spoke about, as well as this huge kind of screen behind them. So being in the audience, you've got a lot of ground to cover when you're watching. So we get the first vocal entry, that's Bae Do Hoon. He is their Barry tenor, as I call him, like a baritone tenor. Here we can really hear his voice.
There's an old man sitting next to me.
His timbre, it's quite unique. And I never noticed how kind of nasal, a bit higher up in his face his sound is. I have been surprised by him many times before, especially his range. That's why I call him a Barry tenor, because he's a baritone, but he can sing comfortably higher than the tenor register, but with his baritone sounding voice. It's quite cool. Here, obviously, he's singing lower. In terms of the arrangement that we're hearing, just to point out some subtle differences compared to the original song, because it is very similar overall.
There's an old man sitting next to me.
We have no guitar or beat like we do get in the original.
There's an old man sitting next to me, making love.
As we just have the piano as accompaniment here, naturally the piano part is more exposed. There are fewer things to listen to. This lends nicely to one of my favourite parts of this song, why I think it's very catchy. It's this descending bass line we hear in the piano.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd.
And the harmonica. I like what they've done in this version. They've replaced it with the strings now, with the violins being prominent. The music is in a time signature called 3/4. So there are 3 beats in a bar, like rum bum bum brum bum bum, 1 2 3 1 2 3, like a waltz. Very, very bouncy. I find the strings here give the song much more of a formal feel compared to a harmonica. I'm kind of imagining like a dinner party in the 1800s where for the entertainment after dinner people start waltzing around a ballroom or something. Okay, just after this is where we paused. Cho Ming-yu enters, and just before he does we hear a flute, which complements Cho Ming-yu's voice very well, I think. What a voice he has.
Can you play me a memory?
A lovely light tone, a leggero tenor he'd be called. It's such a natural tenor sound. His voice is naturally a bit higher set. Okay, let's carry on from his entry.
Say, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. Oh Lord, Lord, little Lord, Lord, little Lord, Lord. Sing us a song, you're a piano man. Sing us a song tonight where we'll all in the mood for a melody. You got us feeling alright.
Now John at the bar, he's a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and his quick with John going to light on your smoke. But there's some place that he'd rather be.
He says, Bill, I believe this is killing me, as a smile ran away from his face. Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star.
Oh, if I could get out of this place.
Oh Lord, Lord, little Lord, Lord, little Lord, Lord. Sing us a song, you're the piano.
There's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on here. Earlier, I just want to go back.
If I could get out of this place.
There's another line being sung an octave down. I don't think that's Cho Ming-yu, the tenor. It could be Kang Hyung-ho, the countertenor in the red suit. I've not really spoken about him yet. Or Ko Woo-rim, who we're not seeing, we haven't seen, but I'm not sure it sounds like him.
I could get out of this place.
Maybe it's a backing track. Anyway, yeah, I'll do my second pause here. I want to go over and discuss some of what we've heard there. From where we carried on, it's fun, isn't it? We have a very nice flute descending line.
Play me a memory. I'm not really sure.
And another nice little line in the flute that we hear just afterwards. Listen out for it, it's quite subtle.
But it's sad and it's sweet and I knew it's complete.
Very fun, and we've also got the pizzicato, the plucked strings over here to the side.
How it goes, but it's sad.
And this is up the octave to the first entry we initially heard, but it's the same pitch as the original song. It just has a very different feel because of Cho Ming-yu's voice and his timbre. His mannerisms too.
It's sweet and I knew it's complete when I was a younger man.
Very elegant. He's almost like a doll has come to life or something. Very, very interesting. And obviously he's a great performer. Then we get 3-part harmony. So Kang Hyung-ho, he's the resident countertenor dressed in red. He really can do everything. He's nuts. I think he's absolutely nuts. He's on the top with a nice airy head voice. It's a perfect transition between the 3 parts. From him to the tenor's very light chest voice to the slightly more earthy sound of the baritone at the bottom. I've mentioned some small differences in the arrangements, instrumentation, that kind of thing. But the harmony, they've kept it exactly the same as the original song. So overall, the same chords as the original song are used in the same order. In other words, the harmonic progression is the same. This 3-part harmony part is the first part where it seems like the harmony might not be the same though. Even though it is, but it sounds a little bit different, a little bit peculiar. At least from a harmonic perspective, because of how the 3 voices are moving in harmony with each other. They're moving in perfect parallel motion. So if each finger is a voice, top, middle, bottom, they're just moving exactly the same up and down with each other, just at several notes apart, of course. Usually when chords change and harmonies change, one part might stay when the other parts move because that would fit in better with the next chord. Even Bach, for example, because everyone knows Bach, he had these sort of rules in his chorale writing where you weren't allowed to do this parallel movement. Anyway, so I really like what Forestella have done here. It adds an almost mysterious feeling to the music. It makes it seem a little bit surreal. And then they break away from this parallel motion. We have the tenor part going. And the baritone is going in contrary motion to that. Quite a strange line actually. It's a scale upwards. It's not what I'd expect to hear based on the harmony, but it works. It works really, really well. So I really like this. They're moving away into Kang Hyung-ho's solo. So now they would have all had a solo. Kang Hyung-ho, the man in red.
Sing us a song tonight.
Every Forestella video I do, I sing his highest praises. Please check out my Forestella playlist, by the way. Card up here, you can check out all my other videos. Yeah, I really think he's phenomenal. I like his accent here too. It's quite American rocky in some respects. It's like a cool hybrid of accents. And this is also a great showcase of his vibrato style, so the little wobbles in his voice. I don't think I've ever specifically focused on this before or spoken about it, but I think of it as more of a flutter.
Sing us a song tonight.
It's a very subtle vibrato and very quick, but not over the top. It's a nice contrast he's using as well to the flat tones on some of the notes. So no wobbles in the voice, just a doo type sound, which he often pairs with a sort of croak in his voice, very typical of rock music. Which is very fitting because then the electric guitar comes in. The next bit I like a lot. 2-part harmony into 3 parts, all very subtle.
Yes, me my dreams for free. And his creep we all going to light on your small
And very swingy, very bouncy, really leaning into the 3/4 time signature. Especially the lowest voice, how the words are accented on the strong beats. And in their solo lines, we just have very different styles of singing between them, and they're very obvious about it. They're not trying to hide it.
As a smile ran away from his face.
Before showing me Forestella, if you had explained this music, we have one more operatic singer, one more rocky singer.
Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star.
Another one in this style, another one in that style. I wouldn't have thought it would work, but it does. I think so anyway. I find it very charming. And then just before we paused, we again got this parallel motion, so quite a weird sort of sounding music, quite dreamy sounding. And we have more dancers coming in. I think they're ballet dancers, but they're now dressed in much more formal clothing than the dancers at the beginning were. These are now very much more in line with the waltz feeling I was speaking about earlier when I mentioned a 19th century dinner party. I mean, even the background we have here, look at this grandiose staircase. So it's very interesting, kind of like a merging of historical timelines and time periods. Let's carry on until the end.
Sing us a song on a piano man. Sing us a song tonight, where we are holding the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. A song, not a piano man. Sing us a song tonight, where we're holding the mood for a melody. You've got us feeling alright. You've got us feeling alright. You've got us.
That was good. So much going on, especially at the end. Arrangement opening up, literally a merging of times. We had some contemporary dancers. I'll go through some final points now. I really enjoyed that. All right, so now we've got the countertenor moving into his head voice.
Sing us a song tonight.
Nice chromatic line causing some temporary dissonances as well. It's a very subtle head voice before. Lovely. Just what a voice he has, especially his head voice. The accompanying voices as well, I think they're quite funny. These staccato disjointed Again, I get it's the sense to do with this merging of styles, time periods, anything else, who knows, they've probably merged it. We then get the contemporary dancers come in, we can see down here. The piano part has moved to a more kind of swing style, there are syncopations galore, and then this dramatic move up physically onto the piano. We've now had a key change. So we've moved up from 2, and the sound, it's just large now. It's just a mix of everything going on. Outfits, the dancing, the musical styles, even the background here is crazy.
Sounds like carnival, and the microphone's
Yeah, I really like it. And then they choose to end with the melody in the lowest voice in Beidou Hoon. You know, lower down there. Again, that's not what you'd really expect for a grandiose ending, but there's a lot of stuff we wouldn't expect. That's what Forestella do, the unexpected. In fairness though, the very final line is the tenor. And final point, there was another kind of phantom bass. You've got us. Who's singing that part? It's a bass voice in the backing track, I guess. It's not one of them. Anyway, so then he sings the G up here towards the top of the tenor range, and then our baritone takes over, and the leggero tenor with the naturally higher voice, he's singing underneath. He's singing down here. It just shows the versatility of Forestella, how they switch around parts freely and they all have the ranges to do so. Yeah, I really enjoyed that performance. Visually as well, a bit crazy, a bit manic, but I'm not sure if there's a wider context on this show, if there was something before or afterwards that makes this make a little bit more sense. But even just as a one-off individual performance, I really liked it. I don't have much more to say, so let's leave that one there. Thank you as always for watching. Would appreciate a like and subscribe. If you enjoy my content, want to support me, join the community, vote on polls and get access to exclusive perks, you can do so by joining the Patreon linked on the screen now, and I will see you next time.